Let me just have a wet of my drink. It is, of course, DJ Ash Noble here. Welcome back to another stream. Let me just bring you a little bit closer. Welcome back to another stream. Today we have got 2 gig announcements. Yes, not one, but 2. We finally have some gigs again to announce. It's been a little bit of a slow year to, on the gig side of things. There's been a lot of things going on, quite a lot of gigs I had at the start of the year that came in. They kind of got, either the date was moved or the date got cancelled, and things have just not been so good on that score. And I had one in June, and that has also just been cancelled. But that one, I actually I wasn't too bothered, and I kind of knew it was going to be cancelled. And there's a little bit of a story behind it. I'm not going to go into it too much, but the person who was organising it, basically, I don't want him to ever book me again. I don't want to speak to the guy, because to cut the story short, he can't organise a piss up in a brewery, and the whole thing was a shamble. And even if it hadn't have been cancelled, like, I was very tempted just to walk away anyway. It was one of those situations where, sadly, missing the gig, it will not be missed. So, yeah, I kind of knew it was going to be cancelled anyway. But on the good note, we've got a couple of gigs to announce. One is actually this weekend. I just haven't had time to announce it. And then there's another one which you will see, judging by the title, which is an exciting one. I've been wanting to announce this one for a while. I've known about this one for a while, actually. And it's one of the gigs this year that I've been kind of like, at least I've got this to look forward to. And it's been really exciting. So the first one is I'm back in Grimsby in Fusion for Bounce, Jackerz and Friends. Now, these gigs, now a lot of people, once they kind of get to that level of like, right, I've done some bigger gigs now, and they kind of don't like to take the smaller gigs. Now, I like to take the smaller gigs, and the reason why I like to take the smaller gigs is because the smaller gigs allows me the chance to be a bit more experimental with what I'm doing. So, for example, like if I'm making a load of new tracks, for example, and the aim is that I want to play them at a big gig, but I'm not sure how they're going to go down or how they're going to sound in a club, then I like to use the smaller gigs as an opportunity to play them tracks that basically, I can test it out. I can see what it sounds like in a club. I can kind of get a little bit of a reaction from the crowd if they're kind of liking the track. I can just kind of unexpectedly drop it in with no real needs to, obviously, not at the big gig, and then I know, like, do I need to bring it back to the studio? Do I need to adjust anything? Is the vocal louder than the melody? Is the melody overpowering the vocal, kind of thing? So that's kind of what I use these smaller gigs for. It's kind of a chance to get behind the decks, have a little bit of fun, test out the new stuff that I've been working on, and get them ready for the bigger gigs. And then if I feel like, yeah, they're ready, I can then obviously decide, am I going to drop it at the bigger gig? And they're a bit of fun as well. There's normally like some of my friends that are also playing on the lineup as well. So you just have a little bit of a laugh. You get out the house and you have a bit of fun. So we're back in Grimsby this Saturday for Bounce, Jackerz and Friends. So it's Bounce, Jackerz, the duo from Grimsby, and their Night and Friends, and it's just basically they put a night on and they put some of their friends on, and they just have like a little friends thing and a little sort of free entry event where people can come in. And like I say, I look forward to them because, like, when I do them, it's just that opportunity for me to kind of have a good play around and find my feet again. Imagine it. Imagine it's like motorbike racing. Like this gig at the weekend would be kind of like the qualifying, and then the big gig would be like the main race. So I'm kind of almost like qualifying, having a practice session, just to kind of get the feel of what I'm going to do on the main race, which is like the main gig. So really excited for that. Big shout to Alondo for booking me, having me back down to Fusion again. I'm sure it's going to be a good night. I was just in Fusion this weekend, just gone, not DJing. I was just helping a friend of mine do some videography for an event that was taking place. And that was a really, really enjoyable night. And the club it's always a nice club. I always like the club. The staff are always nice. The door staff are always really nice as well. What do I think about DDJ 200 Pioneer? I've been on the DDJ 200s quite a lot of times. And I'm going to be completely honest and truthful with you. I think they're really good for beginner DJs. I think they're absolutely fantastic for beginner DJs. I think they do a lot of, like a lot of good stuff for DJing. Like you can do a lot of good stuff on them. However, there is a few things about the DDJ 200 that I don't like. And one of the first things and the main things is that they don't have a headphone port on them. So the DDJ 200, you have to have like an external sound lead. So you have to have like an aux lead, and it's aux on one end, and then the other end has a connection for a speaker. The other end has a connection for and then there's a connection for a headphone. And basically, like, it's just a pain. Like, you kind of can't just plug headphones into it. And it just, to me, like, having to have that little lead is just a little bit more of a pain. And also then, like, going to speakers as well, it's a little bit more, it's very limited. Like, there isn't really any, like, connections on it at all. The only connection you really get on it is the MIDI lead. And I just think, personally, like, I would have put a headphone port on it, at the least, a headphone port, and just a couple of RCAs just to go to some speakers. Not saying you have to do the full whack and do the XLR inputs and, all the crazy stuff, just the very basic 2 RCAs, 1 headphone port, and, that would have been good for me. So I think, in that sense, that is a little bit rubbish about them. And I think it can be a little bit confusing to beginner DJs as well, because they'll watch a lot of videos and they'll see like bigger DJs like using headphones and things, and then they'll get one of them and they'll be looking around like, where do you plug the headphones in? And I just think personally, like, it's just a little bit of a like rubbish situation in that sense. Like, like you have to like have a lead that goes into like into a laptop to be able to get the headphones to work. And then it's just a little bit of a pain for me personally, that I'm not a huge fan of. And I'm not really a big fan of it. For the price, I think they should put it in for the price, definitely. But apart from that, beginner DJ, it does work. It does what it says on the tin. The buttons are good. The jog wheels are good. For me personally, they're too basic for me personally. Like, I prefer to use something that is basically, a bit more upmarket. Like, I have an RX-1 behind me over there, and I like that. And in all fairness, like, because I know obviously how to DJ, I'm a bit more advanced at DJing. But ideally, they kind of do the same thing, and a lot of people get confused about DJ equipment. But the truth is they all kind of pretty much do the same thing. It's just some of them have like some extra features on them. So like, for example, like on mine, there's like an effects button, whereas on the DDJ200 there isn't an effects button. But it's surprising, like a few extra buttons can like really confuse somebody. Like, you know, but like, you know, at the end of the day, like the DDJ200 has jog wheels, my RX1 has jog wheels. They both have a play and cue button. They both have a crossfader. They both have a volume fader. They both have a pitch fader. So basically, you know, they both got mids, highs, and lows. So basically, like you can basically DJ on both of them without, you know, that's not going into like looping and effects and loop pads. You know, we both have loop pads. The only thing, like I say, that we have compared to theirs is we have a built-in screen. We put a USB stick into it, and we have like effects buttons. Apart from that, like we don't, you know, we are pretty much the same. Now on the DDJ200 you can still get the same effects, you just have to do it within the software instead. And then the little loop pads, they basically become what you press for the effects instead of what we have on the RX1 basically. So, you know, they pretty much in a lot of sense, like they both do the same thing really. Like that's the mad thing about it. Like they do pretty much both do the same thing. They do what they say on the tin. But you know, the DDJ200, it's a little bit small for me. It's a little bit too basic for me. I like something a little bit more, and that's why I like my RX1. So anyway, back on track. So this weekend, Bounce, Jackerz and Friends. So that's going to be really good. And then the second gig to announce is I'm happy to share that I'm returning to the Book in Driffield with the Layman to do a night full of dance, trance, clubland, bounce. Mainly clubland, like the main thing, what they like there is clubland. We kind of put on a clubland night there with like, you know, all the clubland music. But we go into a little bit of bounce and we do play some dance anthems as well. Normally you start off playing some dance anthems just because, like, you know, we bring the clubland a little bit later when a few more people have come in. And you know, you don't start the night by playing the best tracks, you know, like you save that for when the thing is, you know, when it's a bit more into the night. But I'm super looking forward to it, and a lot of people have been asking me, am I coming back to the Book, and you know, am I back at the Book this year? You know, am I doing things at the Book again? And I've known for a while that I have been doing things at the Book. And, you know, I've known that was obviously a thing. A few people have asked me, obviously, it hadn't been announced, so I couldn't really say yay or nay. The only people I did tell was some relatives, some cousins. They asked me at a personal family funeral, actually, after family funeral, when we'd kind of gone to the wake. They kind of said, are you at the Book again this year? And then I just thought, you know what, yeah, I am. You know, I'm going to be back there in August, but nothing's confirmed yet. You know, so sort of, you know, keep it hush, and they did, you know, they just kind of like, you know, said, oh, we'll be there. And then as soon as the flyer obviously announced, I shared it to them and said, look, you know, we're back at the Book, tagged them in it, blah, 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 as you do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going back there. So I went there twice last year, and the vibe was good. The first time, it was absolutely fantastic. It was amazing. It was really good. And basically, it got really busy, had a really, really fun, enjoyable vibe, played some absolute tunes. And then the second time, unfortunately, somebody was having a leaving party on the same night. And unfortunately, the leaving party attracted a little bit more attention than what we was doing. Some people were a little bit torn, so some people were coming over to me for a little bit, and then going back and showing their faces. At the party, we had a little bit of a quieter one, but it was still a really, really enjoyable vibe. What I do remember though, one of them, I can't remember if it was the first one or if it was the second one. I think it might have been the second one. I done a remix. I done a bounce remix of Jason Derulo riding solo, and I played it later on in the night, and there was two women, like youngish women, and they'd come in. And I was playing it, and they recognised it was Jason Derulo riding solo. But they gave me the most like horrible, muckiest look ever. Like they really did not like the version I'd done. Like they didn't like this fast bounce version, and you could really tell that like they didn't even really know there was a Clubland night on. There was like a Clubland and bounce thing on. They just came in, saw there was a DJ on, thought, oh, there's a bit of music on, and then heard me playing all these sped up versions of chart tunes, and they were a little bit like, what the hell is this? And they were kind of like trying to dance to it, but like you could just tell that like they weren't really enjoying it. They were trying, but it just wasn't their thing, and they just wasn't really impressed. But they tried, but they just weren't into it. And the thing about it is it's always hit and miss with these kind of gigs because they're not raves, you know, like they're pubs. So people go out and have a few drinks, and you know, they hear a few commercial tracks and they like to request something. And then like, you know, they put the Clubland nights on there because Clubland was obviously a big thing. The CDs were quite big. You know, and there's people obviously like, you can be a raver or not a raver, and I suppose, you know, because Clubland was such a massive thing, you do kind of know what it was. You know, and you've heard like Pretty Green Eyes and Set You Free at some point during your life to know what it is. You know, and it's a classic, but like you can kind of like that. But that doesn't then mean to say like, you know, you like the hardest donk tunes known to man. And I think that you know is kind of the case with some people. Like you play like Pretty Green Eyes and Set You Free, like they're gonna know what it is. They absolutely love it. You know, they want Shooting Star. They want things like you know, like Bass Hunter, Now You're Gone. But then you go to play something like you know, Find Yourself, you know, is it John O'Gallagher or something like that? John O'Gallagher. Find Yourself, like absolute classic tune. They're not necessarily gonna fully know what that one is. And then the same with some of the other tracks, like, you know, you could play like the Bounce Projectors, Hazel Eyes, and which that one's not too bad because it goes organy, but like there's just certain tracks that they aren't gonna really be that keen on, but like the main sing-alongs is obviously what they'll know, and you know, it just kind of becomes a little bit hit and miss as to what you're gonna get when you obviously go to something like you know, when you go to do something like, you know, one of them nights in a pub, it's always a little bit hit and miss. But yeah, and then there is one other gig to announce actually. Nothing super special for anybody on here, but I'm doing a birthday party. Believe it or not, I'm doing a 50th birthday party, starting off with some older music for like the older people, and then going into some Clubland for some of the younger people, essentially. And basically that is kind of the score, that is what's happening, and basically that is what's going on. That's on the 28th of June. The one at the book, if I didn't mention, it's on the 24th of August, so it's a bank holiday, so we're doing the bank holiday Sunday, which I think is going to be good, because normally when I used to go out in Driffield, and that was, you know, when I used to properly go out in Driffield, that was about sort of like 5-6 years ago. It used to be good on a bank holiday, like people didn't really go out on a Saturday, they went out on a Sunday, they went out for a couple maybe on a Friday, nothing too heavy, and then Sunday would be like the main night where they'd be out for the night and they'd be on all the shots, and Bank holiday weekends are really good weekends to put like live bands and things on, and like DJs, and put, if you're going to put a music night on, a bank holiday weekend is always a good one, because it always attracts people to come out on the bank holiday. So we've got that on the bank holiday Sunday, which is going to be really, really good. And hopefully, because it's bank holiday Sunday, it brings a few people out, and it just brings, hopefully, what will be an absolutely amazing vibe, and I'm absolutely buzzed for it. And yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for it. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. But before all that, I have got to mention that I am playing for the official Clubland on the 1st of August at the Old Schoolhouse. So it is like literally mad that I can literally walk out of here where I live. I can walk about 3 minutes up the road, and I am at the venue where I'm going to play for the official Clubland. That is like a bucket list thing for me. Like, that is absolutely amazing, and I think that is going to be a highlight of the year for me. If everything goes on our side now, we're outside now. Played outside is amazing. The only downside to it is you never know what the weather's going to be like. And obviously right now we've just come into June, so like we don't know what the weather's going to be like in August yet. We've had lately, like a couple of weeks ago, we had some really, really nice belting weather, and that can be a little bit worrying, because normally if we have like some quite good weather like early on, that does sort of mean like the July, August time tends to be sometimes a little bit more wet, and you have more chance of like where it's absolutely raining. Now, if it's just doing a little bit of light drizzle, we will still be outside. However, if it was to the point where it's just absolutely siling it down, everything's just absolutely dripping wet, then of course they can, they're not going to run something outside. Now, we're in the outside courtyard that I'm aware of. There is a bit of a, like, almost like what I'd call outdoor roofing, and you are a little bit sheltered when you're in the courtyard itself, but it's still not going to be absolutely amazing if it's absolutely chucking it down. So if the weather's on our side, and we've got, even if it's just a day like today, like it's not absolutely boiling out there today, but it's not absolutely freezing at the same time, and it's dry. It's been raining a little bit, but it's quite dry now. We would have a good set. We'd have a good night. If the weather's a bit better, then obviously even better. That's obviously what you kind of, that's what you wish, that's what you hope for. Obviously, if it's just, siling it down, it probably won't be as good. But, let's not let's not put a downer on it, because I'm like super buzzed for it, and the weather is going to be on our side. If it is, we'll have lots of people out there, hopefully, and the vibe will be absolutely lit. So I can't wait for it. But yeah, that is pretty much it in terms of the gig announcements. That's pretty much it in terms of everything that's going on, and kind of everything that's happening, and it's absolutely fantastic. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to them. And once I announce more gigs, I have got another one pending to announce. They've been announcing bits of information about the gig, but they've not dropped the full flyer yet, so I can't make an announcement about this one yet. But this one is going to be one in September, and it's going to be another really fun one to do. So I'm looking forward to announcing that one. And there's some other bits and bobs that I'm going to be announcing very soon as well. I'm doing some more stuff with my Tuesday Tea Club band. that I'm looking forward to doing. We've just been sent more dates, date for another gig, and we've also just been sent more dates for when we're going to be rehearsing and stuff like that. So that's going to be really, really fun as well. We're not actually doing another gig now until around August. At the moment, unless one comes in before then. Apart from that, we haven't got one until August. But you know, we've got about 3. So we rehearse once a month, and we've got like 3 rehearsal sessions, which is really good. We kind of like when we get closer to the August gig, I believe we squeeze an extra rehearsal session in. So that's kind of what we do. We kind of squeeze an extra rehearsal session in with us kind of obviously having a gig, just to make sure we are like fully prepared. But normally we rehearse like once a month, and you know, that's normally like what I'd say all cool and gravy. So yeah, so with that being said, there's some gigs going on, there's some things happening. Also, myself and the Layman, we have just teased a new original track that's going to be coming out very soon, called Feeling Your Heartbeat. We're both very proud of this one, and if you go onto my YouTube channel, there's a little teaser in the shorts. The teaser's also on my TikTok, it's on my Instagram, it's also on my Facebook as well, so it's absolutely everywhere. So we really want to get a big push on this one, because we put quite a bit of work into writing this track, and it's fully original. It's got a EDM kind of like commercial house vibe, and it's something that, like, when you listen to it, you could picture it like coming on the radio and being in the charts. It's kind of got that kind of vibe to it, and it does sound really good. So keep an eye out for release information on that one. And also the Bullying track has also been approved, and it's going to be releasing this Friday on all platforms. So like Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, the Bullying track will be on all them streaming platforms, and it will be absolutely fantastic. So keep an eye out for them, and yeah, make sure to like, comment, share. Peace out, people. Cool.